Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, we are at the end of the 8th Engelberg Conference. I think we made a good choice by taking violence in a human society as topic of this year's conference. We never had such a profound approach to a topic as we had it this year. A bouquet of highly qualified orators guided us to new cognitions. A bunch of young and courageous reflectors gave back their impressions, and a handful of very committed chairmen tried to reconcile professors and youngsters. The program committee had proposed to substitute the classical workshops by the two-persons team play, and I am sure that the experiment was worthwhile, perhaps not forever, but for this year's conference. Mr. Damian Heim yesterday explained us the thesis shift from anxiety to self-confidence to trust. In the same direction went several conclusions we drew out of the presentations. Already in my introductory words, the first day in the Baroque Saal, I quoted the German philosopher Jean-Philippe Remzma, who has been mentioned this morning also, who set up the thesis of the binding agent confidence disappears. Therefore, the shift to empathy and creativity is highly necessary. I state that Professor Remzman's thesis has been confirmed during the last days. It's not my intention, not my task, to summarize the richness of the last days. But there are some unforgettable impressions. I only mention the two scenic representations of the opening day, the very cruel moments of the death of Desdemona, and the violation and mutilation of Lavinia, two culmination points of Shakespearean dramatic art. But I would like to mention also the early morning lecture of the second day of a young monk in the Engelberg Monastery, Father Guido Muff, about violence in religion and the Bible, which gave some of us a precious compliment to the official chapters of the conference. The program committee of this year's conference was chaired by Professor Jakob Nüesch. Professor Nüesch, former president of the ETH Zurich, has also been a member of the Foundation Council for many years. He decided in full youth to retire at the end of this year. Jakob Nüesch was a creative and critical spirit in our council, never in the clouds, always pragmatical, with a fantastic network in the scientific world, always helpful, an excellent colleague and friend. We regret much that Professor Nüesch will leave us alone. We appreciate much his farewell gift to us, namely this year's outstanding conference. I take the opportunity to thank Professor Nüesch today in the name of the whole conference, in my personal name, and in the name of the Foundation Council for the eminent services he rendered during the last years for the Academia Engelberg, and to wish him all the best for the coming years. When I exceptionally pick up another member of the program committee, we do it not every year, but this year, because of his large merits in preparing the conference and his precious contributions during the conference, then we have to thank sincerely to Professor Kurt Spielmann. Professor Spielmann, you were a great player. Thank you very much. As every year, our great thank goes also to Dr. Dominik Galliker and his predominant female equipe. I don't speak about bonobos. You remember the first day. And his predominant female equipe for the 1,000 services they rendered before, during, and after the conference. It is the best conference team we can find, perhaps not worldwide, but Swiss-wide. And they do their work as volunteers to a very cheap price. Thank you, Dominik. Thank you, madams. Next year's Engelberg Conference will be held from 13 to 15 October 2010. The provisional title of the conference is Challenging Democracy, in the sense of, is democracy suited to master the problems of our time? I hope I can greet you and welcome you next year at the same October time. Thanks again to all speakers, collaborators, helpful spirits behind and before the curtain, and above all, to you all, dear participants, for your active and stimulating presence. I hope you enjoyed your stay in Engelberg. Herewith I close the 8th Engelberg Conference and wish you a good and lucky return home. Bye-bye.